So if you recall recently on the internet, there's been a lot of talk about a bill that would punish streamers for playing copyrighted music in the background of their streams. So no one saw the text before. That was just rumors, essentially. I thought it was unbelievable, actually, because Americans can be wild, but not that wild. I thought it was way too unreasonable to actually get passed, and that's essentially what happened here. It's much more reasonable when you look at it. I think the consensus right now, I'm not a lawyer, but the way it reads, if you're doing their best to read this properly, the way it reads, and also the consensus, is that this is not going to punish streamers. What it will do is punish people who are dedicated to illegally hosting copyrighted works, like websites, for example, that hosts free UFC fights and then put their ads on it or something like that. They try to make money from illegal streams. That's what this is going after. It shall be unlawful for a person to willfully and for purposes of commercial advantage or private financial gain offer to the public a digital transmission service that, and then it talks about, that is protected by copyright, that is not transformative and stuff like that. So it's not just playing music in the background that you shouldn't be playing. So this bill, or this law, was in the same package as the COVID stimulus bill, the one where they gave you $600 and passed a few things related to COVID. So that's the consensus so far about this law, is that it will go after people who are dedicated towards illegal streams. What's interesting though, and that speaks to the governance of Americans, is that they had just a few hours to actually read a 5,000 page bill. So obviously no one read it. They were given the bill at 2 p.m. and they had 2 hours to vote on it. 2 hours to read and vote on it. So essentially, these politicians don't really make decisions. They just symbolically say yes, because they don't know what they are agreeing to. And that's not a left-wing or right-wing thing. It's, we saw it from the leftists, AOC, complaining, saying this is why Congress needs time to actually read this package before voting on it. Members of Congress have not read this bill. It's over 5,000 pages, arrived at 2 p.m. today, and we're expected to vote in 2 hours. This isn't governance. Yeah, that's true. But then Mike Lee, who is pretty conservative, very conservative, also denounced this system. This is a spending bill under consideration in Congress today. I received it just moments ago and will likely be asked to vote on it tonight. It's almost 5,600 pages long. I know there are some good things in it, and I'm equally confident that there are bad things in it. Here's the really sad thing. We're being told that there will be no opportunity to amend or improve it. As a result, nearly every member of Congress will have been excluded from the process of developing this bill, which will cost American taxpayers trillions of dollars. This process, by which members of Congress are asked to defer blindly to legislation negotiated entirely in secret by 4 of their colleagues, must come to an end. It won't come to an end until no longer works for those empowered by it. Okay, that phrase didn't make sense. That can happen, but only when most members of both houses and both political parties stop voting for bills they haven't read, and by design cannot read until after it's too late. So just a few people essentially decide for America. Isn't that incredible? Even the president's not gonna fucking read this. Maybe you have an input as a congressman, try to put something in it. Like, of course, they do, right? So that senator is the one who put that thing in there. The copyright law, Tom Tillis. But when you look at the package, you still can't know what everything is in there. So that's the problem with American politics, but that's not my country. So anyways, going back to the going to prison for streaming copyrighted content, that's not gonna happen. Not for Twitch streamers and YouTube streamers who are just streaming copyrighted music in the background. Doesn't look like it will happen. And it's not how the law reads. Even if you're not a lawyer, it doesn't look like how this is how it reads. Ultra David, who is an entertainment lawyer and also an FGC commentator for Mortal Kombat, even him, who is ultra left-wing and shit, says, "You may have seen people saying that this bill would criminalize unauthorized streaming. I reviewed the text of the proposed legislation to see what it says, and I don't want it, but it's probably not meant to take most Twitch streamers to court." Exactly. People were panicking for nothing, but of course, I guess it's fine to panic when no one had the text. The only thing we had was rumors. So anyways, that's it, guys. You are going to be fine. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a good one.